Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video, we are going to talk about the three main build types for Sharen. First, we're going to go over my outpost build, then my mobbing build, and finally a bossing build, as well as all the weapons that are used and why. I saw Drybears Sharen build, which is great timing because there are a few things from that I do want to address in this guide as well. He's not wrong about a few things. The double sniper thing I was trying out, not with both strength and first shot, and I want to address that mod completely. There's definitely a better one, which we'll go over in the video. But with all that being said, let's get started. So, Sharen, overall, let's take a look at her skills first. She's got the cutoff beam, which inflicts damage and electrocution on enemies in front of the cutoff beam, which is pretty cool. It's mostly used on my mobbing build, and we'll go over that. There's definitely a few things that I've thought about that can improve its mob ability, but I haven't officially tested it, so I don't want to go completely in depth on that, but we'll go over the mob build later. Then we got camouflage. This is mostly used for infiltrations as well as the ambush skill. It's amazing. In our outpost build, what we're going to do is drop the cooldown as much as possible and extend the duration. As you can see, we want that time, and we want to be able to mess up and not have to wait 20 minutes. For the third one, the third skill by default is Shock Nuts. Instantly love this character. But what it does, fires built-in impact rounds from the arm forward, inflicting stun, which is really cool. And I want to use Albion Cavalry and try out a few things, but I am actually building that right now. It's one of the last few weapons that I have to get. And then last but not least, we got Flash Short Sword. This is a really cool skill that I can use right after we finish our outpost. We use that, it's actually going to give us our camouflage back right away. And that makes it a lot easier to complete once I show you with some gameplay footage what we're doing. You'll see that. So, let's get started. Oh wait, actually before we get on to the builds, I want to show you something with her stats. So her skill critical hit rate base, I have nothing bringing this up, is at 20%. And I'll show you why this is really cool, again, for the mobbing build later down the road. But keep that in mind, there's a few things. This is why I actually choose Blue Beetle as one of her primary weapons. I was doing the double sniper, and we'll show you how that works when we get to the bossing build. It's really sick, really slick, and I love it. So, if you don't have Sharen, she is one of the most important characters in the game. If you can clear outposts by doing infiltrations, you are going to get a lot of your loot a lot faster. I have every descendant, and I almost have every weapon maxed. Let's take a look at that. So we are getting there, and I have a bunch of these cooking. Here is this sheet. The link to download this is in the description. It has all the builds we're going over. So what we have here is what I call her outpost build. What we're focusing on is the cooldowns as much as possible and duration, so we can hit all of the reactors, which I'll include some clips here. So I use all of those cooldowns. I also use multi-talented, and this is really good, and we'll go over that in more detail in a second. But we have max HP, and then a little bit of critical hit resistance, but mostly I'm using this just for that last little bit of electric skill power in the mod slot that I've chosen. I have this, what is it called? Almandine. I have it there for the other builds as well. So this is a good fit in the outpost build. It is pretty heavy, so if you are playing, you can get rid of like these cooldowns. They are not necessary at all. You don't really need focus on electric. So you can run like this. If you only have 60 slots in your Sharen, make sure you have multi-talented, some survivability. This can come last. But most importantly, the skill, duration, and cooldowns, so you aren't missing out on these infiltrations. It'll make it a lot quicker. So let's exit out of that and come back in. So multi-talented is really good the way this combo works with it, because her dimension active skills are going to give your skill cooldowns 20%, which is a bunch when it comes to your other skills here. So we're mostly using it for bringing the cooldown of the stealth up even further, so we don't have to wait 10 seconds if we mess up an infiltration or a bunny comes along. So that's really great. And then when you do use your fusion skills, you are getting less skill cost and additional duration if you need that skill duration. So this is a very solid choice for Sharen's outpost build. What I typically use for a weapon is whatever I have that can do a ton of damage. A sniper is great. What we're gonna do, you walk in there, you cut the towers, you break them down, and then you should still be stealthed with this duration. From there, you're going to pop your flash short sword. You are definitely going to knock out one of the mobs, at least one of the enemies, which is going to reset the cooldown immediately of active camouflage, which you will use. And then if you have a high damage sniper rifle, which in this we have 2, you can pick one and just get that clean shot and end the outpost right away. Moving on to our mobbing build. What we've got here is a lot of fun. Let's go try, well, let's take a look and then we'll go try this out. So in this, what we're using is the Transcendent mod Release Cutting Force, which I haven't maxed out because it just takes so much gold. Gold is the worst thing in this game. Anyways, we use this Transcendent mod. We throw on some crit because if you guys remember, her base crit is 20%, and then Blue Beetle in this is just like magnificent. Absolutely Blue Beetle! It's fantastic. I love it. We're gonna use that. All right, so now that we know crit damage is good, let's just take a quick look. So at this pace, what you can actually do, I only have front lines and emergency measures. You can still add skill, crit. You can add the concentration for additional crit hit rate, which 115%, you're getting 115% of her base crit chance. And then skill, crit, hit damage. Obviously, you're gonna want that. It's gonna hit harder. You're gonna love it. It's fantastic. Do it. So let's look where I'm at now. You could easily also add these just by adding more of these almandine, whatever sockets, and you can at least get one. And if we get rid of time distribution, you can use both of them. It's great. It's fantastic. You can fit it all. I'm not going to invest that much in my Sharen because she's fantastic where she's at and I love her. So, where we are at with this build, that puts her at a flat 38.46, right? So then we just use that. We've procced Blue Beetle. Nope, it did not proc that time. It did not proc that time. I can't use that because there's no enemies. Is it procking? Sure as shit isn't. I'm not even holding it, that's why. Alright. Now that we're actually holding the correct gun, we use our skill. There we go, it procced. With that, we are at 44.46%. So if we add the additional crit rate, skill crit, let's just, for the sake of this example, we're just gonna take this stuff off. We are at a base 61%. So now we throw it out with the buff. We are at 67.54% critical hit rate on our skills, as well as 2.7% critical hit damage multiplier. And we can even increase that even further if we wanted to by adding, I'm not gonna have enough room. Just tearing this build apart. Boom, throw in the concentration, which puts our crit hit chance and damage 61 and 4.3. Do you see how that's valuable? Do you see how insane that can get? Her ultimate also hits very hard already. So, throwing all of those multipliers on here, you're gonna be mobbing in no time. If you want to build her that way, just throw in 2 more of those sockets. I'm not gonna do it again, but yeah, so let's get this set back up how it was. we'll go over how my mobbing build does out in the field. Let's throw up some clips. So overcharged edge, everybody knows that's fantastic. What it does is it changes her stealth into overcharged edge. What this is going to do is take out 50% of your existing shield. No matter how much you have, it's going to do the same amount of damage, right? It doesn't take MP, which makes the rest of the build very happy to use when you are doing whatever. You can use your shock nuts to stop the kingfishers and all the little mobs that are in boss fights, and it's amazing. And then you're only using your MP to take out the small adds. From here, you use your overcharged edge, which is going to completely conceal your character, takes your shield, but as you can see, it just regenerates right away anyways, and allows you to do massive damage. So let's pull up some bogus level 1, baby. My favorite. So boom, let's put on, we're gonna use my Afterglow, right? So we do it. Oh, didn't even crit. 5 freaking million. It's because I changed this build, man. So let's try it again. Oh, it's not gonna hit. Oh, 18 million. Boom. Didn't even need to use strength in first shot. Did you notice that? It's incredible. We'll go over the weapons in a second. So what we have for this, because I am looking at staying stealthed as much as possible when I run my double sniper setup, it's very important. It allows so much damage. So I have nimble fingers for the cooldown. I use spear and shield because I'm not getting as much HP, so I wanted a little bump of defense, and then the skill power, it doesn't really matter, but it's fun and it helps out with the adds like we discussed earlier. Always using HP because I don't want to just be like Lepic. More focus on fusion, focus on electric. I am using those solely for the cooldown for my cloaking. Multi-talented, same reason. The skill cost, it will take 6% less of your shield, which doesn't really matter, but as you can see, it doesn't affect me at all when I do it. Boom, gone. Get my shield back before I'm entirely cloaked. Awesome. It increases the skill duration, and it'll bring your cooldown of these other skills, which, whatever. Pretty cool, pretty fun. Then from there, more skill cooldown. Then I use the incoming damage modifier and the MP recovery. The MP doesn't matter, I'm using it for the damage modifier. And then front lines, because I wanted a little bit of skill hit damage and skill critical hit rates for the mobs again. Because there is something that Drybear talks about a lot, and that's how the build feels. That's great. We can optimize this to deal 100 million kajillion damage, but what fun is it if even the smallest little thing can come up, fart on you, and it's over. You're done. You're just sitting there on your hands and knees waiting for your friend. Not fun. Not fun at all. So this has a little bit of everything with that versatility to focus on staying cloaked and outputting frequent high damage. So we have all that, and of course, shot focus. Good luck getting it. Good luck crafting and combining. It took me thousands. I don't even know. I don't want to talk about it. But that's how we have this set up for her mobbing. So let's take a look at my blue Beetle first. That's right. I put in a whole freaking activator in it. I am still building it. I just put in this catalyst, so I'm going to bump this up. Whoever said this is a bad mod, you're a bad person. This mod rocks, especially on Blue Beetle. All right, let's take a look at its intrinsic stats, like its base stats. This thing gets 25% base critical hit rate. So why are people not trying to boost that up? That's really high. That's like second to what? Secret Garden, 45%. People freak out about that, but not freaking out about 25%. And this has a decent critical damage modifier. Not where I'd want it to be, but it's definitely worth the investment. The weak point damage is 1.5, so it's worthwhile as well. This thing has high damage multipliers on its own because its unique ability does not affect the weapon in itself. It affects your descendant, which for Sharen, that is fantastic. Getting that 30% of 20%, you're getting, what, 6% added? That's more than Bunny's base, so do what you will with that. I'm sure you could get it to 70% somehow, which is just ridiculous. So yeah, I use that. I focus on the crit hit damage. I tried weak point damage. It's not quite enough, but the weak point is nice to double up because you run out of, you know, different mods that are just going to, you know, best in slot. You got to pick your best in slot. You can't stack those. That's what I'm trying to say. Holy hell. So I focus on the fire rate up. Focus fire is always great. That is what I'm talking about, the best in slot for the weak point damage, 15.4%. So you get the weak point, 15.4% with a little bit additional critical hit damage, which is what we're really looking for. The firearm critical hit rate, this will be nice once I have the mod space to level it, but I want to max this because you get 1 second down per level, so this is going to happen once every 5 seconds. It hits from like 200,000 to almost 700,000. So we use those, the critical hit damage, critical hit rate, and then of course these are just on every weapon ever, which is great but like stupid. Just kidding, it's not on my Divine Punishment, which I've already redone my Lepic or Eugen. And Divine Punishment, I have some really cool news about that, but we'll go over that in a different video as well. So boom, these are the mods. This is what I'm pretty happy with. I want to finish leveling them and then I'll let you know for sure. Either way, that passive skill is amazing and perfect for Sharen, and if you're out of your power ammo, this weapon will do even more than the 700,000, and I'm talking about hard mode, not just like one of these like. Let's see how it does. Didn't even crit. 500,000 on a not crit, and then 687 on a crit. There we go. 2.3 million on just your scout rifle. Every 5 seconds, you throw that in with your like 687s, as long as you're hitting the weak point. And then you know it's been about 5 seconds. You can pop it, and then boom, another 2 million. Whatever. That's awesome. I don't care who you are. So now, let's go over my Afterglow. Go, dude. Whatever. You want to go for... You want to... Look at this. Strengthen first shot gives you this 1.17 million damage. No. No. Batman. Check this out. We're going to use it. We're going to compare it directly to how I have it set up. Ready? Let's make sure we're on it. Okay, strength and first shot. 1 million DPS versus my 455,000. Okay. 1 million DPS. We got 15 million damage on that. Okay. That was weak, by the way. Yeah, and I still got mods I can level up here. So now we're going to weak point expansion, which does not require reloads. And then the Afterglow. Still. So what we do, we're going to do this exact same thing. We just cloak. We missed the crit. We missed the crit. Okay. Let's see, do I use it on this one or yeah, whatever, doesn't matter, we're making a point. Okay. 18.3 million. What? What? But it only says 455,000. And this says 1 million. It's because it's a lie. It's bugged. It's broken. Goat, dude. This is the build. And I haven't even changed out Toxic Enhancement. I just use that solely because the Afterglow comes with that. So you can even make this even better. And you can level up everything. You can catalyze all these slots. This is the GOAT. The best. The best part is, when you run out of ammo to reload, what are you gonna do? Not get that damage? No, you will, still, with weak point expansion. It's incredible. Use it. Don't be dumb. Listen to your favorite pessimistic Beetle. Alright, now, in Drybears' video, he discussed something that was pretty interesting, that you can stack strength and first shot on both these weapons and keep regenerating your ammo with those those mods that give you more ammo, whatever they're called. I forget because I don't use them. Yeah, special round charge improvement. So when you pick up special rounds, you'll get a high powered round for every 120 rounds. You can still use that if you want, but honestly, I am quite content. When I run out of that excess ammo, I can just stick to my one Afterglow or my one piercing light, depending on who I'm fighting or depending on who I'm using. So, Afterglow here is great. So now what we do, because you can't stack the two mods, it still has the cooldown. What we do, oh yeah, I totally was using this guy, which I'm still working on. I have an empty slot. But yeah, just make it like this and then use strength and first shot. After I talk so much crap on it, right? But look at that. It's still lower damage, which is insane. The game doesn't calculate right. So now we have strength and first shot on the Afterglow because this has more invested in it, so it's going to do more damage. We take a look at the piercing light, and since we can't stack the ultimate mods, we just use weak point expansion, and this one's a little bit weaker, so let's see how it does in the same situation. Didn't crit, but almost 9 million damage. So what we're doing now is we're rotating the weak point expansion with strength and first shot, and you want to use strength and first shot on your primary sniper because you want to keep that full. At this point, piercing light is just a throwaway. It's extra damage, so we don't have to wait for the cooldown, and I only use it when I know it's cooldown. And the way you can do that is when your primary sniper gets the strengthened first shot. It's incredible. It works amazing. That's how it should be done. I hope you see this, Drybear. That is how you do it without mathing all over the place. You told me dopaminergetic or dopamine or this one is weak and not considered a good mod. I should use lethal finish? No. No. You love Blue Beetle. Build it and use it over Silly Weeper any day. And then now you guys know strength and first shot, you can't stack it, but you can use additionally weak point expansion and rotate it in that same manner. I've loved Sharen forever. She does everything I need her to do, and I hope this is helpful for you guys. So the very last piece before we go over some actual situations and scenarios, I'll probably have to just edit them in here, is the reactor. This piece of is a piece of shit. Don't do it. I have skill duration up because I've had this exact reactor since I first started. Submachine gun because I only had Thunder Cage. Skill duration up because I wanted to hit the outpost. So as you start, this is probably what you're gonna want your reactor to look like. The components, though, these are a nightmare to farm, but this is 1000% what you want on her because, dude, just build her out for her weapons. So I used the Veteran Marksman Auxiliary Power. Just the veteran set. It's insane. So on this, I don't have any mods I want. I want HP up. More HP, please. And then I'll keep the module drop rate. I don't care. Just give me HP. On this, I'm not upset. I would like MP recovery in combat paired with the, what is it, the MP rate recovery modifier? Yeah, the MP recovery modifier, as well as MP on this. Not the shield recovery, but with Sharen, I can't be too mad. I just use this on other characters that keep an eye out for. The veteran memory, MP recovery modifier, electric resistance. This would be nice to get defense on it. That's about it. And then what are you supposed to do with the processor? This is a great roll considering what you can get aside from what more MP modifier. Can you even get that? I don't think so. So that is my build and my explanation of Sharen. So let me know what you think down below in the comments. If you found this helpful, like it. If not, I don't care. I love this game. I hope you do too. Peace out.